Hey guys, it's Deborah. So this was just sent to me on Facebook from a Facebook friend and a subscriber. So thank you for that. This is absolutely huge, okay? Look at this article from 2 days ago. Israel must be taught a lesson. Erdogan tells Putin. UN Security Council must rapidly intervene to protect Palestinians. Turkish president tells Russian counterpart. So Erdogan is calling Putin to say Israel has to be taught a lesson. Can we say Gog and Magog? Like, I cannot. This is happening now on Israel's Gregorian birthday. I mean, this was 2 days ago, but look at what is happening. We are at the door. I mean, I can't believe he called him. This is Gog and Magog. I mean, they were enemies for a long, long time. And now they're teaming up. I mean, anyway, it was also in the Times of Israel. Erdogan international community must teach Israel a strong lesson. So yeah, that was also in the Times of Israel news. It's just, that is crazy. I was actually planning on making a video on something else, but it's related to this, so I'll get into that after. But here's what it says in the actual article. The statement says Erdogan stressed the need for the international community to give Israel a strong and deterrent lesson, and pressed for the United Nations Security Council to rapidly intervene with determined and clear messages to Israel. The statement says Erdogan suggested to Putin that an international protection force to shield the Palestinians should be considered. So yeah, anyway, Gog and Magog, okay? Like, Turkey is contacting Russia, and I've done the research on this a long time ago, and you could Google all this, like, who are the countries, because who's the bear, and all these things, because they go by their ancient names, but people have figured it out that it is Russia and Turkey. And that's the Gog and Magog war that come against Israel in Ezekiel 38 and I believe 39. So I'm not going to get into all that, but this is happening now. Like, he's contacting Putin to say, let's deal with this. So that's not why I was actually making my video, but that just fit right in perfectly. So what I wanted to just talk to you super quick about was this verse, 1 Thessalonians 5:3. For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. So I was sitting there, I'm like, Lord, I don't get it. Like, I had to ask God, because I was like, I don't get it. This verse is basically saying there'll be peace and safety, and then sudden destruction is going to come. And I had done research before on the word escape. It's under that little Power Director watermark there. You can't see it, but it says, and they shall not escape. But escape in Greek is the same word where it says, pray you're counted worthy to escape all that's coming on the earth. So the people who are escaping in the rapture are that same word. There's going to be people who won't escape. And so it sounds like this timing of this peace and safety will be around the rapture. So I was like, but wait, why is there like war breaking out in Israel right now? Like, what's going on rapture timing wise? Like, what's going on, Lord? So I personally had to ask God, because I was like, this verse, I thought what it would be is there'd be like, all this stuff with the Abraham Accords. There'd be all this peace talk, peace, peace, peace. And then sudden destruction would happen in the rapture. And so it didn't make sense to me timing wise. But then I just immediately got an answer. Like, I prayed and I heard the answer right away. And what's whispered in the air, you shout from the rooftops, that verse. So anyway, basically, this is what I felt inside he said to me, what I heard in the still small voice, is that basically this war, which looks like the Gog and Magog war or something, yeah, it looks like it would be, maybe about to happen. This war happens first, and then around the time it's happening, then the rapture. And when the rapture happens, that's when the Antichrist says peace and safety. So he has to confirm the already existing covenant, which I think is the Abraham Accords, but I don't know. But he has to confirm it, make it stronger. And then when he says peace and safety, sudden destruction comes. So what is sudden destruction? The peace and safety starts the 7-year tribulation. Like I told you, the gap. So like I said, the gap theory, say the rapture's this spring, let's just say, okay? And then you have the Antichrist come with possible, extraterrestrial help. I don't know. Antichrist comes, rapture's happening, people are gone, Holy Spirit's gone. You have then this war happening, and then he comes and says, hey, I can make peace, I can calm everything down. He does that, and he makes this 7-year agreement, and that's what starts sudden destruction. So you may be sitting here thinking, yeah, I already knew that. Like, I don't know why, when this was all happening with this war that's happening right now in Israel, this verse didn't fit to me. I was like, where does it all fit? But it totally fits. He answered me immediately. So I just wanted to share that with you guys, because, and then somebody messaged me that article, and I was like, whoa, it's getting intense. Like, at first it seemed like it was just it's going to be like another big conflict between the Palestinians and Israel. But then now that Erdogan is contacting Putin, that upped this game to another level, and really does seem like Ezekiel 38 and 39, the Gog and Magog war, where the nations all come around Israel, but nobody's there to help Israel. Oh my gosh, I saw this video. I'll try to link it in the description box, but it goes into detail about what's happening with the current U.S. president. I don't know whose names I should or should not say, whatever. The current U.S. president, and how he's not stepping in. And what do we see? What does Christians always wonder? Well, when Gog and Magog happens, how come the U.S. doesn't help Israel? And literally, the former administration was all best friends with Bibi. And now, nope. Not even a word about it. Like, what's going on in Israel? You don't even hear a word from the U.S. So, no, only God will help them during that war. So anyway, all I'm saying is the stage is set. All I'm saying is basically it lines up, this verse. This verse lines up now. I'll repeat again, what the Lord said, what I feel like I heard in the still small voice is that this type of war, this Gog and Magog war, happens around or before the rapture, right around the time or before, close in proximity. And then there may be a little bit of a gap. And then the Antichrist, he's the one who says peace and safety. He says peace and safety. So it's not that, I know the former administration was saying peace and safety. The U.S. administration was saying peace and safety. And they started these Abraham Accords and everything, but they're weak. They're not doing any good. So someone has to come and strengthen them, make them stronger, which the Bible actually says. I know I'm not quoting verses and all this stuff, but you guys mostly know what I'm talking about. Anyway, so that being said, is he will say the peace and safety, and that starts the sudden destruction. He's the white rider. He's the first one out. When he shakes that hand and says, let's do this, it brings destruction, because they're making the Jews and whoever he's making this agreement with are making a bad agreement. They're making a deal with the Antichrist, basically. And so it brings sudden destruction, and that then starts, all the seals opening, the 4 horsemen, all that stuff. And so, he's the first, and then there's the 3. Anyway, you get it. So it all fits, and you saw that article, like this is like basically Gog and Magog, like he's contacting him. Now, I'm not saying he's never done that in the past. I'm just saying, with what's going on right now. Oh, and I'll add something else. Sorry, there's no more visual. I'm just leaving it at this slide, but hopefully you're just listening like podcast style. But anyway, another thing I wanted to mention was in my last video, if you guys didn't see it, check that out. I talked about the blood moon tetrads and how NASA, I know NASA, whatever, but like basically people who study space, not just them, have seen there was only certain amount of blood moons in the last 500 years. They're very rare, blood moon tetrads. And I'm going to tell you which ones there were, and that there's no more in the future that they can see at all. Okay. So in the last 500 years, there's only been 4 times there was tetrads. In 1967, there was a blood moon tetrad, which is was it 1960? No, sorry. Let me go back further. I wrote it down. 1492. 1492 was the first tetrad they could see in the last 500 years. And that was when the Jews were actually kicked out of Spain, and Christopher Columbus found them their new home in 1492. So basically around this, these tetrads mark huge things for the Jews. Okay. And then the next tetrad happened in 1948. Obvious. Israel became a nation. Then the next tetrad happened in 1967. Jerusalem was reunited with Israel, and I don't know if that's when the 6-Day War was, but 1967 was when Jerusalem was reunited with Israel, made the capital or whatever. And then 2014, somebody was like, oh, well, what happened in 2014? Somebody actually asked me in the comments, and I didn't know. Because 2014, a lot of stuff did happen for Gentiles and Christians, where like the 2 cows with the 7 born on their head, you know, I think 2014 started the 7 good years, quote unquote, and then the 7 bad tribulation years would be 2021 to 2028. 2014 is when my daughter had an awake vision in her room, seeing the second coming. We didn't even know what that was. So she was like 6, so there's no way for us to know that was the second coming. So clearly I didn't tell her about it because I didn't even know what it was. I only realized like 3 years later what she told me she saw awake. She came in my room and told me in 2014. Okay, and then those 2 cows with the 7 on the head. So I think 2014 started this whole time or whatever. Anyway, and then so you could say, oh, in 2014 that blood moon tetrad was that. But somebody said, well, what did it have to do with the Jews, with Israel? Because every time these tetrads happen, something happens with Israel. Well, something huge did happen. The other biggest war that like the war that's happening right now, kind of war, 2014 was the Gaza war. So a huge war happened in 2014. Look it up. Okay. And then now there's no more tetrads. After 2014, they can't see nothing. Okay. Because that was it. That was the warning. But there's one more major blood moon coming up May 26th. And I think it's a big sign. Anyway, I think that's a big sign. It's not a tetrad, but I do think it's a big sign because there's too many other things all happening all at once. Anyway, so today is Israel's Gentile anniversary of being 73, which fits with the fig tree generation, which means it's supposed to be, now to like the fall that everything has to kick off so that everything ends in 2028. And anyway, so all that being said, I just wanted to share that article with you and to tell you what I feel like the Lord showed me with this verse, 1 Thessalonians 5:3, that yeah, it will be peace and safety. But the reason that's going to happen is because the Antichrist has to bring peace because of this war that's going to happen. Yeah, the U.S. is not going to help Israel. God will help Israel, but they'll still need, the world will still be in chaos because the rapture will have happened and who knows what else. And so he comes in and makes that treaty, and that's that agreement, and that's what starts the sudden destruction, the 7 years of Jacob's trouble. So I hope I said that right. I hope that made sense. Yeah, God's saying a lot of stuff to me. I'm so grateful that, he's talking to me. I'm listening right now. So I will share when he tells me to share for sure. Anyway, just buckle your seatbelts. That's what I should say. Buckle your seatbelts and get ready. I used to say pack your bags, but then I realized, no, I don't want to take nothing. Okay. Nothing from here. I just want to go. I just pray, me and my household, that we're worthy to escape. And, I'm just ready to go. But anyway, so that's all for today. And I hope that blessed you guys and was interesting. So keep looking up, and I will talk to you again soon. God bless and shalom.